Welcome back to Our Vision Farm. I am heading towards our little potted garden right now, going to harvest a bunch of jalapenos that we got ready to pick. I'm going to be making some pickled jalapenos with them. I think I'm going to make pickled jalapeno slices. And my husband's getting ready to cut the grass. It's mostly just weeds that we have growing in that garden, but we're going to move all the pots around so he can get that cut down because it's getting very overgrown. But we did notice the other day there was a bunch of jalapenos on the plants, so we want to go ahead and get those picked and make something out of them, preserve them. We have a freezer full of peppers right now. We've been picking peppers and freezing them in bags, but I wanted to do something different and pickle some so that we can use them when we make like nachos or salads and tacos and things like that. So we're gonna pick every jalapeno we got on these plants as we're moving them around to get this area cut down anyway, and we will go ahead and make some pickled jalapeno slices. Alright, got everything out of in here and pulled all the pots out. This is all the potted plants that we have. So I'm going to go through them and just pick all the peppers off of the bushes. And then once the grass is nice and short, we'll put everything and rearrange it back in here nice and neat. And any of the pots that aren't growing anything, we're just dumping the dirt straight into the garden, or just putting it to the side to plant something new in. But these are the plants that were all in there. They're just all mixed up and scattered up in here. Once we get them back in, they'll be categorized into their own little sections. What were those again?
The Thai chilies. Those aren't ready. They turn
Thai chilies. Lots of jalapenos. We got some red jalapenos that ripened up. There's some eggplants, but the eggplants doesn't seem to be doing that good. Some of them have turned like yellow, but they're still rock hard, so I'm not sure what happened with those. And that's pretty much it. We have some tomato plants in here too, but they're not producing yet, and some okra. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pick what I can and then rearrange everything back into our little garden. That is about all I can pick off these bushes. Should make a nice little pint-sized jar, or maybe an 8-ounce jar if I really pack them in there. So just enough for us to store in the pantry whenever we want to use. Pickled jalapenos are very easy to make. It's basically just vinegar, I think a little bit of salt if you want to put a little bit of sugar, and some spices like garlic powder. I'll go through my recipes and find the recipe that I usually use so I can share it with you guys. I'm not sure how many times the recipe this will be, maybe like half the recipe, but it's a nice little harvest. And then from here, the grass is cut in there, so we're just going to go and bring every pot back, pull out any weeds that are growing inside of the pots, and just arrange them in categories. So I'll do a row for eggplants and a row for the different types of peppers, and that is pretty much it. So just wanted to show you that, and I'll definitely share the pickled pepper recipe as well when I get to started on that. Alright, got everything consolidated a bit. This is what it looks like now. Just 2 main rows of things. Here I put all the eggplants that we had. And then from eggplants, there's tomatoes. I put the tomatoes here because a lot of them are getting really tall. And I wanted them to kind of lean against this fence, so that will help them trail up a little bit. Then we started with jalapeno plants up here. And you're putting some fertilizer on it. Jalapenos, what is it, habaneros. We have Thai chilies. There might be some cayennes in here. I'm not really sure. They're all mixed up back here. Cayenne.
Thai chili.
And then ghost pepper. We have 1 ghost pepper plant. And then we have a couple parsleys still here. And some little seed starters we started. We got to transplant those. So now our potted garden is nice and cleaned out. We picked through everything, only kept the pots that actually had something growing in it, and we have plenty of space to fill in all these spots. We just got to mix some more dirt and load up the pots with some seeds. And then all of these are just empty pots I got to dump out. But that is it for that. We did plant some stuff in our little plastic greenhouse over here, so I'll show you guys that. We're just using it as kind of a seed starter little greenhouse for now until we figure out where we are putting what we planted in there. So let's go check out. I don't remember. I think we planted some type of squashes, and yeah, I don't remember what we planted in there. Nothing ever happens in this garden, so we have some space to work with. We just got to clean it back out and pick through the weeds in there, and then plant something. Maybe some of the stuff that is growing in the greenhouse, I'll get into that garden, since our butternut squash never end up growing, the ones that I directly seeded. Alright, so these are seeds that we started. I don't see anything in these front ones. Cucumber. These are cucumber. I don't see anything sprouting in these. It might be bad seeds, but we planted more of these white scallop squash. These are the ones that I was calling patty pan squash that we do have in the garden already flowering, but we started some more since they were doing so good. And then we have the acorn squash back here. So this whole row should be this white, what is it called? Early white bush scallop squash. This whole side is acorn squash, and then for some reason the cucumbers have not sprouted yet. They might take a little bit longer. So I think what we're going to do, once these get a little bit bigger and stronger, we're going to go ahead and at least put 1 variety in that whole garden back there, because we have all the space to work with. And our butternut squash seeds that we planted in here never did anything, so we can probably scatter those, pick one and scatter them all over and let them take over this garden. Because we don't have anything specific growing in here. We just have some milkweed, some random pineapples scattered everywhere, papayas, our potted rosemary, our giant oregano plant, and that's pretty much it. We don't have a lot going on in here, so I wouldn't mind if something just kind of took over and started growing up the fence and everything. Let it get all crazy and hopefully get some harvest from that. And then we'll figure out where to put the other ones. These are Mariah Silkies out and about. They're enjoying some free-ranging time. So yeah, that is it for our garden work. It's time to feed these animals for the night, and then I'm going to try and get that pickled jalapeno done today too, so I can add it to the end of this video. So stay tuned for that if you want to see our recipe for pickled jalapeno. It's really easy, so there's really nothing to it, just boiling the ingredients in a pot and then putting them in your packed jars and canning them in a hot water bath. But stay tuned for that. This is the end of the garden section of the video.